going to say, well, what kind of time out here? If I believe any of these numbers at all, 5 million is ridiculously low. Yeah. So why in the world are you selling me any of this business that should be worth 200 million in 5 years for 5? That's kind of crazy. So either, and the reality is, well, I just made up those numbers. I don't know that I could sell this amount. And so you've got this very peculiar aspect where you say, okay, organic organic yogurt is 10% of the yogurt business. Organic tea could be 10% of the tea business. Tea is 2 billion. 10% is 200 million. Maybe we could have 25% of that, so that's 50 million. But you're just making it up. And I was sort of uncomfortable doing that. So I said, look, let's try something else. Let's start with a 0 pre-money valuation. So normally the way a company works, you say, here's a pre-money valuation. Let's say it's 5 million. And we're going to raise 1 million. So that 1 million becomes 1 out of 6, because you add the 1 to the 5. And so these investors are getting 1/6 of the company. But again, that whole 5 million is artificial. We said, well, here's the deal. You give us $1 million. We give you 100% of the company. A 0 pre-money valuation. Okay. So what do you think investors say about that? I'm sorry? No. Investors like this. This is good, right? This is easy for them to understand. There's no dilution. They don't have to argue. They can't have a lower pre-money value than 0. Can't give them more than 100% of the company. So what's the problem? The problem is, what about us as founders? You know, so we say, well, okay, what we're going to do is a large number of options, or warrants, and here's the deal. Once we double your money, we get to have 800,000 warrants at $1 a share. Now, they don't make anything from 0 to 1, but from 1 on, we start sharing. And once we triple your money, we have a whole other 800,000 warrants. And once we 5 times your money, we have some more. 10 times your money, we have some more. And 15 times your money, we have some more still. And so therefore, how much we get depends on how successful this is. And if we're able to get you a 10 times return, then what are you complaining about? And so ultimately, ex post, we can figure out what the value of this company is. We can figure out how much you have. But if it's only a 2x idea, then it wasn't a great idea. We don't deserve very much for this. But if it's an idea that really takes off, and ultimately it was a 23 times return, then what is your... we're doing fine. And so, therefore, it's either like a conditional valuation, where we set the original valuation ex post, we go back, or you say, you know, you don't really have to think about what the valuation is, because we've put you ahead of us. And essentially, normally investors dilute the entrepreneurs. Here we have the entrepreneurs diluting the investors based on how successful we are. And it actually worked brilliantly up front. And it worked fine even for the first couple of rounds. The institutional guys got a little bit more challenged with it, but fortunately there was competition amongst them. And so we were able to, they had, essentially that was kind of the way it worked. And the good news is it meant we didn't have to give the CEO any stock incentives, because this was a pretty good incentive scheme too, from his perspective.